Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Nicole P. Collot, and my topic is all about the philosophy of progressivism. So, progressivism is a theory of education that is concerned with learning by doing. What is learning by doing? Learning by doing is the idea that we learn more when we actually do the activity. Learning by doing is the simple idea that we are capable of learning more about something than we perform the action. For example, say you're looking to play a musical instrument and we're wondering how all of them sound a mix. In most other techniques, you're playing the instrument all by yourself in a studio. So, progressivists believe that people learn best from what they consider most relevant to their lives. Progressivists believe that individuality, progress, and change are fundamental to one's education, believing that people learn best from what they consider most relevant to their lives. Progressivists center the curricula on the needs and experiences, interests, and abilities of students. Education is centered around for the present life itself. Development of the individual and society is only possible when education facilitates the growth of every phase of the child. So one of the proponents of the progressivism is John Dewey. He's an American philosopher, psychologist, and educational reformer. John Dewey established laboratory school in 1896, and he introduced progressive method of teaching. Unlike earlier models of teaching, which relied on authoritarianism and rote learning, progressive education asserted that students must be invested in what they were learning. Dewey argued that curriculum should be relevant to students' lives. So, according to Dewey, he described progressive education as a product of discontent with traditional education, which imposes adult standards, subject matter, and methodologies. He believed that traditional education, as just described, was beyond the scope of young learners. In a progressivist school, students are actively learning. The students interact with one another and develop social qualities such as cooperation and tolerance for different points of view. In addition, students solve problems in the classroom similar to those they will encounter in their everyday lives. His philosophy is based on pragmatism, so he believed that book learning was no substitute for actually doing things. So the characteristics of progressivism. First, it emphasizes on learning by doing. Next is hands-on project. The idea that we learn more when we actually do the activity. So in hands-on projects, we involve students in hands-on projects such as research, case studies, or real-life activities. When students are actively involved in applying course content to answer questions, solve problems, and other activities beyond just receiving content, learning can improve as well as motivation for learning. Next is experiential learning. So experiential learning is considered to be a progressive method of instruction that affords students as an opportunity to generate a deeper understanding of lecture topics by working on course-related issues that, when resolved, benefit their local communities. Next is the strong emphasis on problem solving and critical thinking. Next is the group work and development of social skills. The point of group work is that being social significantly enhances learning. Not only do you have to hear other perspectives, you also have to compare, contrast, and integrate their perspectives into your own thinking. Next is the collaborative and cooperative learning projects. And last is the education for social responsibility and democracy. It is a values-driven framework for school development in the taught curriculum, co-curricular activity, and resource management. So the concept of progressivism. Contemporary reform movement in educational, social, and political affairs. Contemporary education reform, including reorganizations of the curriculum, change in the school system, and reformation of school management, finally reaches down to the job and daily existence of teachers and strongly affects their educational work. Dewey viewed the school as a miniature democratic society in which students could learn and practice the skill and tools necessary for democratic living. Dewey had in mind an ideal type of democracy that is guided by the American understanding of neighborhood and community. Learning to be a democrat means learning to live together, exchange, and communicate. Schools are to be seen as part of the community and to carry civil responsibility like all other institutions. Educational progressivism is the belief that education must be based on the principle that humans are social animals who learn best in real-life activities with other people. The skills and tools of learning include problem-solving methods and scientific inquiry. Learning experience include cooperative behaviors and self-discipline. Common elements of inquiry and problem-solving include asking questions or defining problems, exploring solutions or explanations. Cooperative learning is the process of breaking classroom students into small groups so they can discover a new concept together and help each other learn. So the progressivism aims of education. First is to develop the personality of an individual through providing a democratic environment in the educational institutions. For democracy to continue to thrive, children must be taught to value it as a way of life. The necessary skills for building democracy do not develop automatically in children. Teaching democracy means preparing children to become citizens who will preserve and shape democracy in the future. Next is um, an all-around development of child. So it is important that children understand communication not just through speaking but also by using body language and gestures. It is crucial that the child's learning, understanding, problem solving, reasoning, and memory skills are enhanced through various activities. Education of the whole man or whole personality, which includes the physical, emotional, social, and intellectual aspects of the individual. The progressive and curriculum. It should be based on the actual giving environment to the child. It must reflect his daily life. An enriching and stimulating home environment fosters healthy growth and brain development by providing a child with love, emotional support, and opportunities for learning and exploration. The curriculum is interdisciplinary in nature. An interdisciplinary curriculum combines several school subjects into one active project or is organized to cut across subject matter lines, bringing together various aspects of the curriculum into meaningful association. And books and subject matter were part of the learning process rather than sources of ultimate knowledge. So books and subject matter are important in the progressivism. So the methods of teachings in philosophy of progressivism. First is the project method. The project method is a teacher-facilitated collaborative approach in which students acquire and apply knowledge and skills to define and solve realistic problems using a process of extended inquiry. Next is socialized method. Selective exposure, modeling, identification, positive reinforcement, and nurturance are all methods of socialization. Next is demonstration. It is a method teacher perform an activity to teach a student a concept. This often occurred when students find it difficult to connect theories to actual practice and when students are unable to understand the theories and its applications. Next is group work. It refers to a collaborative learning environment where students work through problems and assessments together. Students are able to delegate roles and responsibilities, pool their knowledge and skills, and receive support from one another. Next is role play. It is a technique that allows students to explore realistic situations by interacting with other people in a managed way in order to develop experience and trial different strategies in a supported environment. And the last is the debate. Next is the role of the teacher in philosophy of progressivism. First, the human elements. Human beings are given more importance. The teacher has to meet the needs of a pupil as good human being. So identifying and meeting individual learner needs boosts their morale and encourages them. In some cases, the learner does not gain much from the mass instruction. As such, when the teachers provide individually prescribed instruction, it significantly helps many learners to understand and grasp educational concepts. Next is a facilitator or guide. As a facilitator, the teacher's job is to support every student to do their best thinking and practice. As a facilitator, the teacher encourages the full participation of the student. Next is to determine students' interest and involve students in curriculum development. Having students take part in curriculum development cultivates a sense of shared responsibility among faculty members and the students. And last is stimulate direct learning process. So I will end my topic with a quote from John Dewey. Education is not preparation for life, education is life itself. So John Dewey asserts that education is not preparation for life but life itself. This is based on a context that what is taught to students in the classroom should be connected to the challenges and experiences that the students go through in their daily lives. Learning is an active process that should occur to enhance one's living and understanding. So that would be all, and thank you for listening.